Okay, alright, we're sitting here with Ken Wheaton, cartoonist, inker extraordinaire. Ken Wheaton. When did you first create the comic book Burger Bomb?
Well, I came up with some characters back in 1998, sorry, and drew up some drawings of stereotypical people I worked with, and came up with a young punk rock kid, an elder statesman, a dumb sidekick, a mean boss, the mother hen woman that always seems to be in the fast food restaurants. And I didn't really have anything written, but I had their characters in mind. I had their personalities down.
Okay.
When I went to a comic book show in Buffalo, New York, in November of '97. We'll change that. I met my friend Chris Yambar, and he introduced me to a gentleman, Mike Churchill, who had written some things, and he said, well, you're a writer, you're an artist, why don't you two get together? I know Ken has some characters he'd like to work into a strip, and I showed Mike the characters and who they were, and he contacted me with some story ideas.
Okay. Was there other comics that you worked on prior to Burger Bomb or Clownies? I heard there was the Clownies before Burger Bomb.
Yeah, that was our first story and mini comic, and we changed it to Burger Bomb to make it more accessible, more catchy. Unfortunately, two buildings fell down in New York City, so we're not going to use that name anymore. But all I had done prior to that was some spot cartoons,
like one panel
spot cartoons, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Who are your favorite cartoonists? You can name about 2 or 3 if you like.
Well, I guess I grew up with the Popeye cartoonists, E.C. Segar and Bud Sagendorf. I read Popeye comics. I think those influenced my art style and sense of pacing. I'm big fans of theirs. Cartoonists? Good question. We always have a lot of names in mind until we're interviewed, and then the mind goes blank. But I know I read a lot of the Marvel comics as a kid as well, so a lot of the great 60s and 70s comic book artists.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add to that? Or?
No.
All right. I was going to say, you mentioned you started going to comic book conventions in '97. Did you go prior to that to any other comic book conventions, or is there anything that got you into it beforehand?
Well, I've read comics all my life. My first comic book that I remember having, I still actually have it. It's all beat up. I put it in a protective bag, pretty much not to protect it anymore, just to be nice to it. It's to keep it together because it's in pieces. But it was an old Walt Disney's Comics and Stories starring Donald Duck trying to go fishing without a fishing license.